Okay, welcome to Friday. So
Woo!
this week has been a little bit of a roller coaster. So
Confusing.
we can see here on the global mining index, we can see that we had a very, very strong start to the week. Um, Big jump on Monday market open, which it kind of continued throughout the week up until today. And I think, a little bit of consolidation is not a bad thing. You can see it happens a few times as the markets jumped up each time. So it's not necessarily a bad sign.
And with
Just
these jumps or these consolidations, do you think that as it goes up and more generalists are investing in mining, that it kind of goes down a little bit? What do you think?
yeah, I think a big part of these consolidations is just people taking some profit. So they've been in the space for a long time. A lot of mining investors have been in the space for a very long time. They
Mhm.
see a lot of their stocks go up 100, 200, 300, 400%. And then this week was also like it was strong for silver and gold. But then it did have a bit of a pullback. And you can see it's not like uncommon. Like here's another pullback. This is only a month back, but here's another little pullback for silver that
Yeah.
happened on the 13th. Like it's not uncommon for there to be some consolidation, especially when there's like looming talks of Trump putting 100% tariffs on China. That little bit of instability and fear, people take some money off the table just to play it safe. But they always end up coming back in once it starts to rally again. You can see here it jump back up near the end of the day. So same thing as with gold too. Gold ripped earlier in the week and then boom, jumping back up. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to see a little bit of consolidation because it has been going on a very strong upswing. But of course, that fluctuation in the commodity price definitely affects the overall index for the global miners. So it's part of the game in all honesty. And whether you want to trade it in and out or just sit and wait, I
Mhm.
think either way, it's you'll win.
Yeah. I mean, it is obviously going to be a more stable investment than just general stocks right now.
Yeah, I mean, depends on your thesis, right? If you're pretty optimistic on where you think the metals are going to go, if you think there's going to continue to be a deficit that comes out of the U.S., which with trillions of dollars, I think it's going to be a while before they're even going to get it under control if they even want to, because somebody has to become the bad guy to start cutting costs or something along those lines. The other thing is they can devalue themselves out of debt, which I think is what they're doing. And if they do that, then you're going to end up definitely having a stronger gold and silver price moving forward. So it's just a short term little correction, not a bad thing. We've like the clients that we have and we've talked to, they're still growing. They've raised a ton of capital. Like I think September and October, it's been a huge month for fundraising, especially in the mining market, the TSXV, um, and CSE, and it's a good sign because a lot of these projects were dying for funding, and they
Mhm.
were only able to raise little like $1 million rounds, and so they weren't actually able to build their project or do a proper drill program and find out what to do with the company moving forward. But because of this injection of capital, they've been able to grow, and they've also started to see a lot more generalists come into space,
Mhm.
like a lot more people who typically don't invest in mining. Like this was one chat that came through Dolly Varden's website through Orbiton. And what was interesting and stood out to us was the type of question that was asked. So this person comes in, they said, "Hey, I have no background in mining or technical knowledge. Run me through the recent drill results, explain highlights, explain what it means in simple terms." And so it went through and we were able to help them and understand what's going on. So it went super basic and it said we encountered an average of 3.34 grams per ton. It actually wrote out grams per ton and then put it in brackets of gold and spread over 120 meters of rock. So it gives you the actual width within the wider zone, which is in exceptionally rich sections. And then it goes and breaks down what grams per ton means. 120 meters, it actually gives you a reference point because in your head, you're like, oh, 120 meters, you see all these like 300-meter, 400-meter drill holes, and so you don't actually have a reference point. But when you think about it, it's like, what is it saying? It's like almost the length of a football field of continuous mineralization. That's huge. Like that can become a mine. Like that's impressive. And so seeing people come through and ask those kinds of questions, we weren't seeing that a few months ago.
That's why the AI chatbots that we're using is so important for investor relations so that there's so many different kinds of investors. Not everyone is going to have the same info, and explaining terms like that is so important to someone with no knowledge of the mining field.
And you have to be careful, right? Because if you go out and you put your presentation out, you put your materials out, and you put it too basic, people will think that, the sophisticated investors are going to get turned away because they're like, you don't understand.
Yes.
So that's one challenge. But then on the other hand, if you go too detailed, you're going to lose a whole bunch of people because just by the nature of people who are advanced and those who have basic understanding, you'll have more people who are advanced and less who have basic, or less people who are advanced and more who have basic understanding.
Yeah.
And so because of that, you're going to end up turning away a lot of people when you go too advanced and too detailed on the technical. So the balance has always been a problem for IR. And
Mhm.
so we're hoping to solve that with Orbiton by having it speak at the level of the individual. And that's only really possible because of AI. And
Yeah.
we're putting a lot of focus now into improving the chat experience. Like you're going to see some updates go out next week where we'll have a full screen mode, which takes up a larger portion of the page on desktop so you can see the tables more clearly. We also are rolling out more sophisticated models for when you start going into the geology and drill results so you can really understand what's going on if you want to deep dive the technical.
Mhm.
And we're adding widgets. So you'll be able to do things like take a look at the share price chart within the chat. If you want to look at some videos that the CEO is talking about, we won't just give you links, but you can open the video within the chat. So various things to help improve the customer's engagement and keep them on your website, number one, but keep them interested in talking and asking questions about your company, which
Yeah.
I think is going to be very valuable for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Digital investor relations is going to revolutionize how it's done because of the customization, because you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do that balancing act of do I need to be super basic or do I need to
Mm-hmm.
be super detailed? You don't actually have to niche so to a certain exact demographic. It can be
Mm-hmm.
to wherever someone is. If they've never invested before, ever, they could still go on and actually learn something and not be confused with, oh my gosh, can't find the word. Just different,
Jargon.
like, yeah, different definitions of things that mean nothing. It
They
immediately,
get confused with jargon.
yeah, it immediately tunes your brain out. If you, like, yesterday, I was trying to authorize a email domain, and I
Mm-hmm.
immediately went on and saw so many different acronyms for things. I
Yeah.
immediately felt so stupid. I can't, even if they're talking in plain language, it's like your brain just like, nope, this isn't for me. This isn't actually
Mm-hmm.
what I do. I know nothing about this.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, it's not that hard of a concept. We just use so many like buzzwords and things that only people in the mining space would understand. And so it kind of creates this exclusivity that isn't doing anyone any good.
Yeah, it's true. And all of it comes about because the acronyms are valuable in the field. But
Yeah,
when you go out and you want to, like, what makes a bull market is that generalists and investors of all kinds start coming into your sector.
yeah,
And so that's why you get this large pool of capital. It's not like the capital never existed, it
yeah,
did. It's like a river, it's just now being directed where you are. And
yeah,
so, in order for that to happen, you got to make sure that those new people understand what's going on,
yeah.
and that's something that's going to be difficult as time goes on and as you scale. But I think it's going to be fun to see, a little bit of more juice come back into the mining business, and it's been already
Mm.
incredibly exciting. And I think that it's a cycle that will probably last for a good, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Call
With
me crazy, but I think that the setup for it has been almost a decade in the making. I remember when I was 17 and I started in this business, and everybody was like, "Wait till you see a bull market."
Yep. I mean, I was there with you. I heard that.
Yeah. And
um,
we were like, where is this bull market everybody's talking about? Almost a decade
we
later,
just
you're like,
phoned
oh, okay.
hello with all the old people.
Yeah. And then now it's like, oh, okay, this is what you guys were talking about. Now I understand why everybody was
Yeah.
excited.
And what I was questioning at the beginning when we were talking about the chart, um, with the little consolidations and with more generalists coming into the space and then people taking profit, I don't think that people are, especially with the instability out there for lots of different things, that people are changing their mind or thinking, oh, gold's not valuable, resources
Mm,
aren't valuable. I don't think that that is, I think it will just keep going up for now. Um, but those little dips would be kind of the result of more people coming in, the people that have been here forever going, okay, I would like to take some money out of it, and then jumping back up,
yeah,
especially,
no, it's true for
especially after
sure.
a really volatile week. And then
Yeah,
on the Friday it drops. I don't know.
yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. Like if you look at the year to date for a lot of companies, like if we pull up, I don't know, a massive company like Ignico Eagle, who's down today.
Mhm.
If we go to Ignico Eagle, and let's see their US chart. So if you look at them, they're down by what? Almost 6% today. At one point they were down by even more than that. So they bounced back up at the back half of the day.
Mhm.
Did their financials change? No. Did
Yeah.
their revenue change? No. Was there big negative things that happened in the company? No. So
Mhm.
it was purely just like a macro trend, people getting scared, pulling some money out.
Mhm.
But if you look at it in the 7 days, still up 7%. 1 month up, 16%. 6 months, 43%. Year to date, 120%, which is crazy when you think of the fact that this is a $87 billion company. And so that means that there's been a a double for this multi-billion-dollar company since the start of the year.
Mhm.
Like if you think about that, that's a lot of money
Yeah.
that's poured into it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. You
Mhm.
want to take some winnings. If you were in January, you want to take some winnings.
Yeah. That's what I find very fascinating about, um, just like stock trends and everything, is that there are so many, there are a lot of like concrete things that they're built on, like a company is doing well or they see some news and whatever, it's based on that. But a lot of it is just, how like fickle and fearful human nature is.
Yeah.
Like some of it is based on truly just someone said something that scared another person that posted on social media, then suddenly a different wave hit, and then suddenly everyone is doing this and that and whatever, and it actually like nothing concrete or real or tangible actually changed or happened.
No, no, there's no fundamental shift in the company.
No, no,
And
it's
and
just
that's just
yeah.
and then people are just scared. So I think there's a case for if you reduce friction, there will be more people into the space. And right now, the space of advertising, marketing, or doing investor relations for public companies is quite there's so much friction involved with doing this process. And I think that over time, if we can make that easier, we can have that same Shopify effect where we went from like 10,000 Shopify stores to now Shopify alone, or 10,000 e-commerce stores in total, to now Shopify alone having over 5.3 million. So I
Mhm.
think there's an opportunity there. Now, what it looks like, and if it's like an evolution of the brokerage business rather than an evolution of investor relations, we'll see. But I think that that's a space where there's a lot of growth and innovation. And
Mhm.
like as we're working more on interacting with public companies and investors, there's a whole other segment in between of how these investors find these public companies
Mhm.
that we're starting to tap into. So something for us to we're going to continue to explore over the next year or so, but it's a space that's kind of caught our eye right now.
Mhm. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, um, about how much investing has changed, how it
Hmm.
was nothing that anyone would talk about casually unless you were really in that space or a finance bro. And now it's very like normal, almost weird if you're not really investing. But I also think that there is just a vast majority of people that still aren't. They still kind of know what's up because it is way more normalized to talk about. And I think with reducing the friction, um, that it can be as easy as like any of our other daily tasks. Like I think that it can become
Hmm.
something that is so normal and so easy, and um, who knows, maybe especially people in Canada when mining is so huge here,
Hmm.
it would be really cool to see like a big shift in young people, especially. Um, I don't know, taking control of their finances and taking control of like uh,
And it's not like mining itself is like the thing that people I think misunderstand is that they look at these mines and they're like, oh, mining's bad for the environment, and it's like that's part of the truth. So
Yeah,
first of all, old mines are bad for the environment. New mines have different protocols and procedures, so it's actually better to put into production new mines and then shut down the old ones. And the second thing is that it's necessary. So it's like whether you
yeah,
think it's good for the environment or not, it has to be there. So you might as well have new ones that are doing it in an environmentally friendly way.
yeah, exactly. It is necessary for the society we've built. You can go down that rabbit hole any which way. I think if you're buying things off of Sheen or Temu, it's way worse than than
Yeah, like there's other environmental.
conscious mine for resources that we need to be more um, energetically friendly. Like to have any of the to have any of the technology to be greener, we need money.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
Yeah, you can get caught in that loop. But anyways, I just think that with it being more frictionless, like you're saying, I think it would be cool to see um, how like the new generations of investors really respond. And
Hmm.
um, yeah, I think it's almost turning into like a whole new industry in that way.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have a different face to it, definitely in the very, very short term. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how things develop. This has been definitely an interesting week. Every week we see new political shifts and adjustments, so we've always got something to talk about.
Yeah,
But
excited
yeah, I mean, next
to
week.
yeah excited to see what happens next week. And um, yeah, I followed everything all week, and then today hit, and it's like, oh, I have all my strength points are actually different, change. So,
Everything just got flipped.
and we'll touch on new companies we will sign with Orbiton. There'll be hundreds. We're gonna
Hundreds
blow
blow
up
up.
on Monday.
And then we'll also show you guys some of the new updates we're putting out next week. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll do a little walkthrough on that, and yeah, and then hopefully have a few new companies who are coming on too.
Yeah, and ask us questions.
Yeah, leave it in the comments. We'll answer them soon. Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
see ya.
Thank you.